a part of Israel, or is it a half-occupied territory of maybe the future state of Palestine? This is a big question. My guest is Dagan, Israeli writing politician, head of the Shomron Regional Council from Samaria. My name is Tamás Maráci. Welcome to the program. And my first question is the most important one, and we will talk about the details a little bit later. Will there ever be a Palestinian state, in your opinion?
We never could success a Palestinian state on the ground. Never before. The state of Israel, from the days of the Bible, from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joshua, Ben Nun, all the story of the state of Israel is the story of the Jewish people. The land of Israel is also the base of the heritage of the Jews' books, of the Christian books. And I think that we have two wars together, we, the European people and Israeli people. One, war against the terrorists, barbarian terrorists like we saw together in October 7, and two, the war, the new war of lies, war of delegitimation, and the first operation of this war is operation about the occupation. I don't think that we have one nation in the world with so hard and long relationship between the nation and the land like the nation of Israel and the land of Israel.
Yeah, but you, Israeli people, Jewish people, you have already a state, the state of Israel, but the Palestinians, the other population living there for 1,000 years, the Arabic population, yes, call themselves Palestinians, they don't have a nation. And do they have a right to form a nation? Because they have a language, they have a population there living there, the ancestry live there, they have a territory to live there, and they have a claim, a national identity, which is not the same like the Jordanians or the Lebanese people. Do they have a right to do this?
I think we have in Israel Jewish people, Muslim people, but never in Israel, in the land of Israel, never in all the history, also in the 1,000 years of Muslim occupation, they never talk about Palestinian state. Part of them was citizens of Egypt, part of them was citizens of Jordan kingdom, part of them was citizens of Syria, and the spin, the fake news about the Palestinian state, it is just fake news because never in the time that they take the control, 1,000 years of Muslim occupation, they never did this. Do you know how much time Jerusalem written in the Quran, the holy book of the Muslims? Do you know how many?
Al-Quds, under the name Al-Quds.
How many times it's written in?
Probably zero in the name of Jerusalem.
Zero. And in Bible, Jerusalem in most 600 times. So it's the same, and I'm so happy that you start this interview with this question, because before the situation of security, and also before the security situation after October 7, the real question and real story is the justice. And the Jewish state in the land of the Jews is first of all historical justice, and especially the Jewish communities and towns in Judea and Samaria, the Bible land, is the base of the historical justice for the Jews and for the Christians. And we have a war to destroy these lies, to destroy the ignorance, because I believe that our biggest enemy is the ignorance, and we have more ignorance from anti-Semitism. And the anti-Semites, they are not ignorance, they attacked all the time the truth, attack the justice. And we must to educate what happened in the ground. And of course, we have Muslims, we have Jews. By the way, in Israel state, the one and only democratic state in all the Middle East, we have 20% Muslim citizens. The Muslim judge, bring to the jail our former president and former chief rabbi, the Muslim judge, because we are real democracy. But the nation the nation situation, nationality situation, and the first, as the base of the justice, of the truth, it is the land of Israel, is the land of the Jewish people. And we know this from the Bible.
I know this, and I know the realities. But as I said before, that you have your own state since 80 years almost. So the question is that whether the Palestinians can have a state beside your state, the two-state solution. Does it work or not?
I must tell you that we are very, very respect all the people, Jews, Muslims. God create us, and we appreciate all the people in the world, all the people here. The Palestinian Authority is not a state, but Palestinian Authority is autonomy. They have a separate system. They have parliament. Unfortunately, they voted Hamas in their parliament. They have municipality systems. They are voting most of the times the mayors from Hamas because they want to kill these Jews. But before they want to bring a budget for hospitals, so all the time they are voting to Hamas. But they have system, another separate system. They have both in Shechem, by the way, in so-called Nablus. They have police, half army. Unfortunately, they murdered a lot of Jewish and Muslims because it's like in part of the countries in Africa, unfortunately, in dictatorship and corruption. But they have another system. What they have not? They have not these issues and equipment that can destroy Israel. What's different between the autonomy, like Greenland or the Palestinian Authority? That they have all the separate issues to live. They have separate officials, separate budget, separate system. They have not option to build the army with rockets. To Hamas, yes, and I must tell you about this one issue. But in Judea and Samaria, they have not rockets, they have not tanks, they have not ships, they have not submarines, they have not the control in the borders. They have not all the issues that they can take them and destroy Israel and do second Holocaust like they are published, that they want to do this all the time.
This is
a difference between autonomy and state.
Yeah, and this is exactly the next question I wanted to ask. That I read the chapter of Hamas, and I was surprised that they have no problem. I mean, the most problem is not with the state of Israel, but the Jews. So in the chapter, in the charter, some chapters in the charter, they say that. Not that Zionists, not the state of Israel, but the presence of Jews is a problem. So they want a caliphate there. Absolutely 100% territory occupation for the Arabic people, the Muslims, and the Jews needs to leave. I understand that no compromise.
Or budget.
Yeah, no compromise with the Hamas, I understand. But you are a religious man, and you have the Bible, and you have the conviction that the Yahweh, the God, gave the whole land from river to sea to the Jews. So I am asking you that is there any compromise on your side, because you have the same kind of chapter in the Bible that you don't have compromise with other nations. The whole land is yours, is it right?
All the land of Israel, it's us, because God bring for us, by the holy rules, by the historical justice, He bring us, the land of Israel, to the next generations of Abraham. It is not just a gift, it's also an order to build our homeland. And if you take a look from maybe all the story of the Bible, if you take a zoom out, all the story of the Bible, it's all the time way to land of Israel, way to land of Israel, way to land of Israel. And also in Shechem, in Shomron, in Samaria, God did the two testimonies with Abraham. One, God swore to Abraham that this land for your next generation, and two, that all the nation who blessed the people of Israel, the nation of Israel, God will bless them, and all the nations that God will that curse Israel, God will curse them. Yeah. But we know that God also put the Muslims in this land. And
So
we must
this
to
is a
be,
contradiction, and you need to do
yes,
something with this reality.
Of course.
And the other thing is, there is
and because this,
Yep.
I think we must respect the people and help them to create life, to create education system. The opposite from all the issue of Oslo Accord and all the stupid ideas of the European Union that bring all the terrorists from Tunisia, the gangs of terrorists and corruption people, bring them money, bring them weapons, and bring them the control into the Bible land, and we created together the European and the left government of Israel since the days of Oslo Agreement and in the day of the Oslo Agreement, and we created together a monster. And why I say monster? Because we have a few options of peace process in the Middle East, in Israel. The number one, maybe the best success of Oslo Agreement, of the ideology and dreams of the European Union administration from the progressive side of Europe is Gaza Strip. Why? Because Gaza Strip is the first Palestinian state. What we did in Gaza Strip, we destroyed all the houses, just of the Jews, not of the Muslims, just of the Jews. Like 80 years ago, told in Europe, Judenrein, without Jews, just Muslims. We put out the bodies from the tombs. We destroyed all the industrial zones, all the agricultural zones, and we was building a new border, Palestinian state. And our former president, Shimon Peres, he was the president from the progressive side. He told before they evacuated of Gaza Strip Jewish communities that after we'll evacuated all the Jewish communities here, Gaza Strip will be a Singapore of the Middle East. So Gaza Strip, after we evacuated, after we did the peace by the books without Jews, without the
it didn't work.
And
it
October
didn't work.
7, October 7,
I
October
understand.
7, it's Palestinian state on the ground. So
Yeah,
because
this project
we must to
didn't work.
find a solution, not Palestinian state, not October 7, with respect the good people, not the terrorists.
Yeah, I understand that. This project didn't work, we see that, but there is another project, Mr. Trump said that maybe the review, after how did you call this, the project, the Gaza, I mean, the Trump said it's a Riviera, and the new project is Riviera. So will it work? Or I read in the internet that you advised Mr. Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, that the settlers should return to Gaza, which is a scandal for the international community.
I think I don't want now to bring communities into Gaza. I say that if we want to win, and we must win, not just for us, because all the I think most of the people and the smart people in Europe understand that we are just the appetizer. You are the steak, because you are smart men. You learn and you know exactly the details. So Hamas, the base of Hamas, is not just against the killed or take out all the Jews, not the Zionists, the Jews. Hamas also, the brother Muslim ideology, that they must to clean all the world from the Christians and the Jews. And they write, and also the Iranian, that the Israeli state, we are the small Satan. And the big Satan, it's you, the Europe leaders, the Europe culture, and yes, and Western culture, and United States, of course. And we understand that we are standing together against this. And before this, we have a mission to win. And I believe, after we did this terrible issue, and we did issue that Hungary, for example, never think to do, to take one country in the state and destroyed all the houses and take all the citizens out, and after this they bring us October 7. We must say, gentlemen, we did this terrible issue. You did after you, because we think, I didn't think that it will be Singapore, but part of the people in Israel think, we tried to do this. we bring us Singapore of the Middle East, we bring us Palestinian state, October 7, we take back. I believe that one community, one town, not in Gaza, in the border, its message. Also, I believe that sovereignty, Judea and Samaria, is not just an historical justice. It's not just to protect state of Israel, because after October 7, all the people understand that we must to control about big mountains near Tel Aviv, but also it's a message from all the bad guys in the Middle East that we are winning.
And did you come to Budapest for this reason, to lobbying at the Hungarian government to support the sovereignty plan of Judea and Samaria? This is a plan?
I must tell you that I very appreciate, and the people in Hungary must know this, that the people in Israel, and also a lot of people in states, I work very close with people in the Congress and Senate in the United States, and people from the Republican Party and the Jewish communities in states, and of course in Israel. We are very appreciate your government. We are very appreciate your support, your partnership, because we have a problem, ignorance, and people that, liars people like Macron, that try to create all the time the theater of two-state illusion, and they attacked, don't understand that they attacked Europe more from they attacked us, because we are the submarine, we are the ship we are the first force of Europe, of all the Western culture, and your government understands situation. Your government, your prime minister, I met right now with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I met with Minister Boca also. I met with a lot of leaders here, brave leaders, smart leaders, and their agenda, I think the hope for the future of Europe is the agenda of your government. And I must bring also back our appreciation and our solidarity. And first of all, that we understand now that we are together. This is a network. We have in the world two networks. The bad networks, strange network, by the way, of the extreme progressive and radical Islamic, and the good network of the culture of the Jews, of the culture of the Christians in Europe, in states in Israel. And this network, we must all the time work hard to create a strong network and to win together, just together.
Mr. Dagan, Hungary is one country in Europe, but many European countries in these days plan to do an official recognition of the Palestinian state. What will you do if they do this?
I think that before this theater, because this joke, and why I told this is theater, because it's not relevant. Europe cannot create a real state in our zone. By the way, it's the opposite for Oslo Agreement, because all the base of Oslo Agreement, just these two sides can to negotiate together, and and the Palestinian Authority cannot. It's the base of the agreement. They cannot do any international issues alone. But I must tell you that it's very dangerous, because we have experience, and all the time that ignorant people like Macron, and all the time that terrible and bad leaders like Mahmoud Abbas, like the Hamas, of course, try to create changes. After this, we can see, unfortunately, a lot of terror attacks in Israel, in Europe also. So it's a danger to our situation, our security situation. It's a danger for the historical justice, the base, and it's a danger also to the people in the Palestinian Authority. Because I must tell you, I work years with local leaders and local sheikhs in Palestinian Authority. Good men, brave men. Why brave? Because the Palestinian Authority is dictatorship. It's not like Hungary in Israel. And part of them, the Palestinian police try attack them and arrest them. They work with me about a few plans, about, for example, the Emirates plan, to be separate for the Palestinian authorities that all the time take your tax money from Europe, not to the education or hospitals. Take the money to the big salaries from the murders, for the terrorists, and create, for example, new Emirates, and work with us together about peaceful coexistence. For example, I must tell you, you know this because you visited in Samaria. 32 years since Oslo Accord, a lot of politicians in Europe, not in Hungary, talk about guidelines or boycott our industrial zones. Why? Because they want to create peaceful coexistence. But you visited all the Middle East. After 32 years since Oslo Agreement, we have a lot of conference of peace. We have a lot of good workers in industrial peace. We have a lot of agreements, but we have not peace. But in all the Middle East, just in our industrial zones, in Judea and Samaria, Jews and Arabs work together near same machine and take the same salary, and they want to destroy this. Why? Because it's not matter for them about the Arabs, the Palestinians. They hate Jews. They don't like Arabs. But these brave leaders, they want to create more industrial zones, to create more relationships, and this is the opposite for the Palestinian Authority. This is the opposite from the lie about the Palestinian state. God brings them 1,000 years with a Muslim occupation to create Palestinian state. They never think that they are one nation. Part of them was near. You can see until these days with the accent of the Arabic. The Muslims near Gaza, they have accent like Egyptian, in the Galilee, like Syria, in Judea and Samaria, like Jordan. And because this, we must recognize in the reality that we have a lot of Muslims. They must recognize the reality that God bring the people of Israel back to land of Israel. Yeah. And I think the position now, with the strong Jewish communities, with sovereignty, control about all the Jewish communities and all the empty areas and Emirates without Palestinian Authority, because it's the same. Hamas and Fatah is the same. They bring the money also for Hamas. I'm sure you know this. And to create another way for the peace is not McDonald's. It's slowly. It's easy cooked, but we can do this.
Yeah, Mr. Dagan, just closing the interview with the thought that if the two-state solution doesn't work, and I see the complex situation, and I visited the complex situation myself, and I know the situation on the ground. Mm-hmm. So, what is your vision as a leader of the Samaria Council? There will be one-state solution, and the most important question: if you want a Jewish state, an ethnic Jewish homeland, where do you put the Palestinian Arabic population? Some million people outside in Jordan, on Lebanon, no. Or keeping them inside the Jewish state. How does it work? Because it's a complicated issue there.
I think, like I told you before, that's a very smart question, and we must recognize what reality is on the ground. After Oslo Accord, we have a lot of bad situation. We bring the terrorists from Tunisia, bring them guns and weapons or kill Jews. We bring them the control about the education system. And I don't know if you know this, but the first anti-Semitist education system in the world is the Palestinian Authority. Part of them learn Mein Kampf. It's more extreme anti-Semitism from Iran education system. And all of this from your tax money, from Europe, you must know this. But we have one good issue since Oslo Accord, that they have, like I told you before, they have a different system. I tell you what I asked one important senator in States 4 months ago. He asked me this question, smart question. Tell me please, I elected 3 times in Samaria Regional Council with 80%. So the people not hate me. It's my yes, not hate you. Tell me please, Senator, if I'm going to running in the election in Palestinian Authority, maybe I have a chance to elected? He smiled and yes, I think yes, because I don't know if they like you. 100% they hate the corruption of Palestinian Authority, take all the money from all the world to corruption and terror and not to the hospitals and schools. So I asked him, tell me, Senator, why can I not elected? He think, and told me, because you have not Palestinian ID. I told him, okay, this is the answer. After Oslo Agreement, I cannot elected in the parliament in Ramallah, because they have separate parliament. They cannot elected in Israeli Knesset, in Jerusalem, because this, I don't think it's realistic, and we must be realistic. To bring sovereignty, you don't need to bring sovereignty to the Muslim village.
Yeah.
We need to bring sovereignty to the Jewish
you
communities.
You haven't answered the question. Where do you put the Palestinian population if you have one state solution?
They have Palestinian Authority. They have autonomy now. We cannot destroy this situation. God put us, God put them. If we take out the base of the terror, Palestinian Authority and Hamas, and help to these local sheikh and leaders, for example, like I told you about them before, to be stronger, and for example, bring the European budget not to this terrorist, bring them to the good people that want to build hospitals and schools and work with the Jews and not kill the Jews. If can do this, it's going to be a completely good situation, because if we take the control, it's sovereignty, it's not just historical justice. Sovereignty, it takes the control forever about these strategic mountains and keep State of Israel on the ground alive. And they have autonomy. We must do like in Europe. You did in Europe after the Second World War, Marshall Plan, to change the situation of the education system and to educate that we must to live together. And because it's, if I complete the answer, to bring now sovereignty, historical justice, because it's a Bible land, to keep the State of Israel safety, and to help to these brave leaders to be stronger, and we don't need and don't want to push out the Muslims. They have villages, they have autonomy, but no Palestinian state with power to do second Holocaust. And it's not McDonald's, it's not fast food, especially after October 7th. We, the good people in Europe, and especially in your government and your nation in Hungary, and us, the people in states of Israel, and of course the people in United States, to work together to fix this terrible issue since Oslo agreement, to create together a good and safety future, and also the safety and safety future, not just the Jews in Israel, also to Europe, because we are understanding that we are together.
I see. Mr. Dagan, so many questions left in the paper, and I leave it there because we have a time limit. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, and I must tell you that I very appreciate what you are doing, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for the attention, dear viewers. We see you next week, each other. Bye-bye.